Hey everyone, welcome to my studio. If you are new here, I am working on making this design of Moses in the desert striking the rock into a mosaic. And this would be one of 3 mosaics that go around the sides of a fountain at a church. Here's where I left off last week. I have almost finished Moses. I just have his feet to do. And I'll show you what I'm planning on working on after Moses is finished. I'm going to come down to the opposite end of the mosaic and start working on this woman. And then these 2 other figures. And last of all, I will wrap up with the figures that have their back to the viewer. That's it. Now that I have finished most of Moses, I will be repeating these same colors. When I get to this mosaic of Moses parting the water, you will notice that he's wearing the same outfit. So I think he traveled light in the desert. So I want to make sure I have the same glass. And let me show you what I'm organized. I've labeled it, I've put it in bags, and I will be storing it in this box for when I'm finished with this mosaic of Moses striking the water. And I move on to the mosaic of Moses parting the sea. So all this glass goes in the box. Belt and his tunic. And I will set this aside so that I don't use it up until I'm ready to work on the other Moses. I'm working on this foot, and I have this pattern piece for the toes. And as you can see, I can cut this straight down right here where the sandal comes through, but the toes themselves, I want to just notch out to indicate that they're there. I'm not going to cut a line in between them necessarily, but I thought the easiest way to do that would be to use a ring saw. I have this old Taurus II ring saw that I purchased used from someone else's studio. And I have filled up the water reservoir. I cleaned it all out. It was cobwebby in the garage. And I turned it on only to find out that the blade would not turn. So let me show you something. When I pop off this access panel and I look closer at the belt, I see that there are some tears in the belt. And I just think that it is not, I need a new belt probably. So I checked online, a new belt is $60. And I thought, this is an old ring saw. Do I want to pay $60 just so that I can cut those notches on the toes? I mean, I may need this again in the future. I'm not sure if I want to spend that right now. I remembered that I teach class tomorrow night, and there is a ring saw in the room that is brand new. Like they bought it just, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago or so, within the last year anyway. And my students have used it once or twice. I'll set it up for them. So if I just go a little bit early, I can cut out the notches on these toes. But I want to go ahead and get the other foot ready, and maybe I'll cut notches on the other foot as well. So the toes will have to wait till tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of the foot pieces ready, and then I will be able to, after I have cut out the toes, put it all together for you. I'm going to start this woman by cutting out her eyes, and I'm using dark brown. Of messing around with. In particular, I was having a hard time with this piece here that is between the mouth and the nose, but I think I'm satisfied with it finally. I'm going to take this mosaic tape and tape the face again, just like I did on Moses, just to hold all those little pieces in place so that nothing gets shifted while I'm working on the rest of it. This tape is really, really strong. So even though I was working on the shelf paper to hold things in place temporarily, this will really hold it. called Spectrum Congo. There's the number right there. And I don't know how long I've had this glass, but look at that beautiful texture on it. I can't wait to use that one. As much as I want to get started on that green, I'm going to have to work on the headdress first. And I did put a little detail on the bottom of her headdress that was green, like a design. And I think I'm just going to have to not put the design. It's not very practical to put a detailed design on there. But what I might do is I might edge it with some of this green. Here's the original with the little design on there. So those little diamonds are just not very practical. But I might edge it with some green to kind of pull in this green. I don't know. I'll have to see. For her headdress, I am going to be using a very solid white, a streaky white, and then this bluish gray. It will look different than Moses' hair, which is more of a warm gray. Moses with his gray, it's a little bit of a warmer gray. This one is more on the blue side. And I really want the blue as much as possible in this image because the water is actually going to have quite a bit of white rather than blue. That's just how waterfalls are. Sorry for all the glare. I'm gonna get after it. Pieces for the headdress cut and fit into place, and now I'm going to peel off the paper on any of them that still have the contact paper. And then as I cut and place them, I may adjust them a little bit here and there by nipping them to fit. Moving on to her dress, and this line here you see is where my design ends, but this line is where I field verified the fountain and where the fountain ends. Now I'm not going to come all the way to this line because I want a little bit of space for grout, so I'm going to come just off of it. But that is my final reference line, just so that I know. But to do this dress, I've got several different shades of green, and I need to divide it up between the dark, the medium, and the light. That's sort of how I've been doing all these areas. I know that, for instance, in this shadow of her arm inside the sleeve, that is going to be dark. Have all the pieces, it's best to take a picture so that I know how to place them once I get them cut, because sometimes it's a real puzzle. When I put the pieces on my glass, I try to be strategic about it. I should be able to use my scoring tool to cut these out without much problem. And I'm really excited to use this textured glass. The medium shade is beautiful. Now that I've got this little piece cut out, I realize I need something much darker for this piece. And then I think I'm gonna probably use some of the much darker piece in here as well. And I don't know anywhere else, but it's just not enough contrast. So I'm gonna go darker with that one. Foot pieces. I went and took these pieces to my ring saw and cut them. Let me peel off that plastic now. Now the sandal fits. And I'm going to glue them all down now. Why this wasn't working, and I realized these two pieces were upside down. So now I'm going to clean them off, stick them back in. Oop. That's it. This is as far as I got. I finished the feet on Moses this week with his little toes. And on the other end of my table, way down here, I got a good start on her. And I've got my glass ready to go to finish her outfit and then just her hands. That's it. That's putting it together. Thanks for watching. See you next time.